Hello, I'm Freddie Levette from Ofwat, the water regulator in England and Wales.
And I'm Margarita Sheffield-Mataru, also from Ofwat. Welcome to Spark, our digital innovation channel. At Spark, we're meeting experts in innovation and new thinking from a range of sectors and industries.
And we're asking them to showcase their experience and knowledge and inspire the water sector to go further.
So what exactly do we mean by innovation? We asked people what they thought.
Innovation can benefit everyone, but what exactly is it? As customers are one of the biggest beneficiaries of innovation, we wondered what they thought.
Well, I suppose Uber and Deliveroo and those app-based services.
It's real lazy.
And it's really easy access. I guess all the different restaurants have, it's one app for everything.
Tencent, the host of the WeChat, Chinese version of Facebook. The reason why I support it because, as a Chinese foreign study students, I need to communicate with my family, and the WeChat offered the platform for me, and it's very convenient and cheap.
Let's talk about autonomous vehicles. Again, Tesla, service, banking industry. You look at how they've transformed of how they actually do digital banking.
Apple.
Okay. And why do you think Apple?
Well, most of the product I have used in the past, and today they're all Apple and very good quality.
My favourite company is Lego.
And why do you think it's so innovative?
Because with Lego you can build whatever you want. Your imagination is the instruction.
Unsurprisingly, customers focused on the goods and services they use every day. So what do some of the companies that generate these goods and services think innovation is?
So innovation for me is all about taking some great ideas and the process of translating those into really cool products and services that really help BT differentiate.
It's all about new ideas and technologies. It's taking that forward-thinking research from academia and deploying that into industry. It's pushing the bounds of whichever sector you're focusing on and taking it to the next level.
Innovation isn't necessarily big, massive things. It's not necessarily technology-based. It could be for people, it could be processes, it could be quite small things. But actually, if you put those things together, do something new, execute it, it creates value, that's innovation.
So businesses have a range of views about what innovation is. But what about wider society?
Well, by definition, it's about doing things in a new way. And for me, it's key that this is done in order to improve the customer experience, improve the environment, but also innovation is key to boosting productivity. And that's what we highlight in the industrial strategy as a government. And the thing about innovation and productivity, why that matters, directly, productivity leads to prosperity, the quality of life for people, raising living standards. All these things matter in terms of supporting the general growth of our country, but also the general prosperity rise right across the country.
I think quite often when you say innovation, people think about new technology. They think about exciting new pieces of kit that could be used, for example, on their networks and alongside their old traditional assets. But I think we all increasingly now know that, of course, information technology is a huge enabler of innovation. But I think for me, another element of innovation is actually in the realm of new commercial deals and new business models, which are quite often overlooked. Partly because they're not as tangible perhaps as traditional new technology or even information technology. But the things that can perhaps be learned from other sectors, other industries, about how to structure deals, how to form partnerships in order to address the challenges that the sector have, I think are some really interesting and exciting opportunities for innovation just there.
Innovation to me is about taking ideas, implementing ideas that are sustainable and add value at scale.
New ways of looking at things, ways to disrupt things that aren't working. And for me, it's towards pushing towards something that I see as a vision for the future. Of course, I think it's really important to note that innovation is not always a force for good, and just as technology is not neutral, innovation can also not be neutral, and we have to be careful about how we deploy these things and for what purposes.
Thanks, Freddie. Interesting to hear that innovation can come in so many different shapes and forms. But why do people even need to innovate? We had a closer look.
Well, innovation's been a lifeblood, I think, for many businesses of Marks and Spencer for decades. I mean, what's different now is the sheer scale of innovation, the sheer scale of pressures we need to respond to. Economically, socially, environmentally, there's a great series of disruptions that face into us. You can be daunted by them or you can be excited by them.
We all know our world is changing. At the same time as the world is changing, pace of change is quicker than ever. So as customers, are we getting more demanding?
Innovation is really important because actually as customers we know that you and I are much more demanding than we've ever been. We have less monies in our pockets, we're much more savvy, and also we don't compare is this a great water company with another water company. We compare customer service and customer experiences with our favourite brands. So where other brands are innovating all the time, we need to be able to respond to that.
Even the biggest businesses are finding they have to reinvent themselves to hit refresh.
It's refreshing elements of what you want to look at, but not everything. It's not about completely changing your entire business model, but adapting it for the modern world and some of the changes that we're facing. And in particular, from a Microsoft perspective, we were very highly successful in a lot of areas like desktop and Windows and like office productivity. But again, the world has changed. It's much more mobile now and people connect in very different ways. There's a big shift to the clouds and cloud technologies. The way people collaborate has changed differently. And so it was recognized internally that we need to adapt to some of those changes because our competition are adapting to it. And we faced a bit of the innovator's dilemma. We had very highly successful products and services, but they would be very profitable and keep us in a good place in the short term, but might not necessarily set us up for success in the longer term. I joined Microsoft about 10 years ago, and I joined just as Microsoft released Windows Vista, and it was in that era of Microsoft was very much a Windows desktop and office company, and where we are now 10 years on is completely different. It's all about the cloud and about providing this empowering organizations and individuals to achieve more.
So there seems to be a growing need to innovate for customers today, but also just to stay ahead in future. But are there any other benefits to businesses from innovating?
Well, my particular interest is in innovation in relation to customers with additional needs and on lower incomes. I think from that point of view, innovation can deliver better staff retention. Staff can take pride in what they do and they're really proud to be working for the company. It can help in terms of communication and engagement more generally. So water companies, for example, have to get people to engage on issues like water reduction. If they feel positively about the company and how they treat their most vulnerable customers, it can increase their engagement more generally, which in turn, of course, reduces costs. It can have positive PR and communication benefits as well. And ultimately, it's about reducing costs, about doing things more efficiently, and about improving customer satisfaction.
Innovation leads to the most the most valuable, the most enduring businesses. Innovation creates the things that customers really want. It creates very lively businesses, creates businesses that are always striving to do things better, to provide better solutions for their customers.
So to sum up, innovation could be technology, processes, services, new ways of operating, or even mindsets. It can benefit everyone involved, from customers to communities to the environment to companies and their employees.
That's right. And the scale and pace that our world is changing means all sectors of society need to innovate more.
So that brings us to the end of this week's show. A big thank you to all of our contributors, and you can catch the full interviews with each of them on YouTube over the coming week.
We'd also love to get your thoughts. In particular, what does innovation mean to you?
You can send us your reaction on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and through emails. But don't forget to use our hashtag.
On Friday, we'll be bringing you a live sum up of the best bits on Periscope, a live streaming tool on Twitter with a special guest.
So there are plenty of chances for you to watch and join in the conversation about all things innovation.
And coming up next week, what does it take to build a culture of innovation? So that's it from us for now.
So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.